What's he think he's gonna do?
Just like the good old days.
Yeah. You on the sidelines while I do all the work.
Hi, I'm Sharonda Williams, and welcome to Prime Video Recaps, where I will be recapping some of your favorite series before a new season comes out. With Reacher Season 3 premiering new episodes on February 20th, I thought you might need a little reminder on everything that happened in Season 2. Remember, Reacher Season 3 premieres with 3 new episodes on February 20th, and new episodes airing weekly. Reacher Season 2 centers around Reacher's former U.S. Army unit, the 110th MP Special Investigations. Members of this unit are being brutally murdered one by one. Reacher must leave his drifter lifestyle to find out who is behind these murders before he loses any more of his former teammates. With the help of his friends, Francis Neely, Carla Dixon, and David O'Donnell, they will stop at nothing to bring those responsible to justice. The question is, can they uncover who the bad guys are before they or any more members of the Special Investigations Unit are taken out? Season 2, Episode 1 opens at the Catskill Mountains in New York when a body is thrown from a helicopter above. The person is killed on impact, but we have no idea who they are. But sit tight, all will be revealed in due time. We then find our hero Reacher in Murfreesboro, Arkansas at a thrift store buying new clothes. He heads across the street to get money out of an ATM and notices a woman with bruises taking money out. She has been carjacked, but Reacher is there to save the day. After Reacher gets his money out of the ATM, he sees a distress message that Neely has left for him. Neely tells him that she needs him to come to New York because Calvin Franz, a member of their Special Investigators Unit, and the body that was thrown from the helicopter is dead. The episode then takes us back several years earlier to Rock Creek, Virginia, where Franz and Reacher first meet. Reacher has assembled a team called the 110th MP Special Investigations Unit. Reacher takes the team out for a beer, but they quickly get into an altercation. Let's just say, "You do not mess with the Special Investigators" is their slogan for a reason. Back in the present, Reacher meets with Neely in New York, and they catch up after their last interaction in Margrave 2.5 years earlier. She updates him on Franz's disappearance and murder. Neely has tried to reach out to the other members of the unit, but no one is answering. Reacher and Neely go to meet with Franz's widow, and she tells them about an office he had that was trashed. Reacher notices someone has been following them. Reacher and Neely head to Franz's office and find a key to a P.O. box at the post office across the street, but the post office is closed. Neely and Reacher head back to the hotel to continue catching up. Neely has been working as a private investigator at a firm and is doing very well for herself. She likes the money, but most of all loves it when she gets to work on pro bono cases that help those in need. Neely asks Reacher about their former team member Carla Dixon. She says it was clear that Carla and Reacher had a thing for one another. Reacher tells Neely nothing ever happened between them since it would have been inappropriate with him leading the unit. Neely and Reacher return to the post office to find Franz's P.O. box. Neely creates a distraction for Reacher to search the boxes. An elderly woman almost blows his cover, but he is able to find the right box. They discover a flash drive but need an adapter to see what's on it. Reacher makes a pit stop to find a gun and even finds some time to give back to the community as well. We are introduced to a new mysterious character called A.M., and while he doesn't give much away, we do know he is dangerous. Neely and Reacher meet back at the hotel and discover their rooms have been ransacked. They find a visitor still there, their old teammate David O'Donnell. Neely is able to get into the hard drive they found at Franz's P.O. box, and it is a list of aliases. These aliases match the initials of our mystery guy, A.M. Reacher, Neely, and O'Donnell break into the house of Tony Swan, one of the members of the Special Investigators Unit, but they only find his dead dog. Swan is missing, and Reacher has now come to the conclusion that someone wants all the members of the 110th MP Special Investigations Unit dead as the episode comes to an end. Reacher notices the same black sedan down the street and decides to find out who it is. Let's just say Reacher has an interesting way of saying hello. Neely finds the man's badge, and his name is Guy Russo, an investigator with the NYPD who is investigating Franz's murder. While Reacher may have found Guy Russo, there is another person on their tail, a man named Seropian, who has been following them and delivering his findings to Shane Langston, who seems to be the person wanting all the members of the 110th MP Special Investigations Unit taken out. Neely, Reacher, and O'Donnell head to find a rental, but they run into Dixon. Back in the past, we see Reacher and Dixon have a flirt-off, but we are also given insight into who came up with the phrase, "Details matter."
I mean, it's a minor detail, but in an investigation, details matter.
I like that. I'm gonna use it.
Mine is yours.
In the present day, Langston tells Seropian that he wants Reacher, Neely, O'Donnell, and Dixon dead by the end of the day tomorrow. The former teammates head to Orozco and Sanchez's office, and it is trashed just like they found Franz's office. They find a picture of Sanchez and a woman who leads them to the Lucky Lounge. They ask about Milena, the woman in the picture, and Milena makes a run for it, while the men in the bar try to take out Neely and Reacher. They did try, but definitely did not succeed. O'Donnell and Dixon are able to capture Milena. Milena tells them that Franz had come into the bar to see Orozco and Sanchez, and they were working on a case together. Milena said that they mentioned Swan's name in the conversation. She says Sanchez got a call about some numbers and he left and she never saw him again. Reacher, Neely, Dixon, and O'Donnell head to a casino in Atlantic City as they think the numbers have something to do with gambling since Sanchez and Orozco did background checks for the casinos. They speak with Chief Wright, who manages one of the casinos, and Reacher asks him to review the numbers in the alias list to see if it could be connected to a gambling scam. Wright sets the team up with the suite until he can look into the numbers. Reacher gives the all-you-can-eat buffet at the casino a run for his money as he tries to make sense of the list of numbers. Reacher finds Dixon hitting it big in the casino. Seropian is nearby watching Reacher and Dixon as they leave. Dixon asks Reacher why he never made a move on her, but before they can hash out their love life, Dixon notices two men following them. Dixon and Reacher handle it gracefully, but things don't end too well for the men, especially Seropian. They search Seropian's car to find his phone and call his most dialed number. Langston tells him things won't end well for him, but Reacher isn't fazed. Dixon finds a parking pass from a company called New Age Technologies. They dispose of the bodies and head back to the hotel. I guess all the fighting got Reacher and Dixon in the mood to finally make that move. The next morning, Wright tells them that they found Orozco and Sanchez's bodies in upstate New York. Wright also tells them that nothing fishy came up with the numbers, so it can't be attached to a gambling scheme. Reacher leaves the hotel to get more guns as the episode comes to an end. Episode 3 opens up 10 days earlier and Franz is being beaten in front of Langston. He is trying to get him to talk, but Franz is not being cooperative. Before Franz is thrown out of the helicopter, Franz tells Langston while laughing,
I'm just thinking about what the big guy's gonna do to you.
In the present day, Reacher is buying more guns. The owner of the shop tries to give him a hard time, but Reacher has an easy time getting his way. Reacher, Dixon, Neely, and O'Donnell get pulled over and Reacher is arrested by Russo and taken into custody. Reacher accuses Russo of being a dirty cop, but Russo denies it. Russo says he wants to work together and get to the bottom of who is responsible for these murders. Reacher agrees but says Russo has to do something for them in return. Neely and Dixon head to New Age Technologies and speak with Marlo Burns, who is the director of operations. They ask Burns about the parking pass they found in Seropian's car. Burns tells them that the parking tag was registered to Trevor Seropian. He was there at New Age for an interview but wasn't hired. Burns gives them his address so they can investigate further. Russo gives them a lead with the alias list, a form found in the printer in Franz's office. Azari Mahmoud, who is AM, is wanted for conspiracy to commit a terrorist attack. He is a weapons broker for terrorist organizations. Russo searches the list of aliases and AM is on his way to New York. AM arrives at the airport and he can tell that there are officers in disguise looking for him, but he is able to escape. He calls Langston and tells him his aliases have been burned and the authorities are waiting for him at the airport. Dixon cracks the code on the numbers list as it correlates to days and months. Each page is a month, the last 7 months to be exact. Now they are trying to figure out what they are counting. Reacher, Neely, Dixon, and O'Donnell head to Seropian's house to gather more intel on who AM is working for. Reacher throws a bomb into the house which takes out one of the men hiding inside. After the explosion, they fight the rest of the men, but someone almost gets away in a car. Reacher chases after them on foot and then stops the car by throwing a barbecue grill at it. The driver's name is Brian Collins, but he dies of a heart attack before Reacher can get any information out of him. Reacher, Neely, Dixon, and O'Donnell crash into New Age Technologies and steal the files and hard drives. Reacher also steals a picture that has Swan in it, as they now know he was working at the same company that is trying to kill them all. Russo gets his butt handed to him by his superior, Lieutenant Marsh. Reacher, Neely, Dixon, and O'Donnell are going through the information they stole and wondering if Swan is dirty. Reacher doesn't think so, but the others think he may be in on this. O'Donnell sees that Swan was the assistant director of security at New Age, and Shane Langston was the director of security. They discover emails between Swan and Burns and are given the lead on something called Project Little Wing, a 9-figure government contract that New Age Technologies was trying to get. Malcolm Lavoie is a senator who is trying to get the project greenlit and wants to work with New Age to get the project started. In Denver, AM finds a new alias by killing a doctor who has a striking resemblance to him. Daniel Boyd, Senator Lavoie's legislative director, is the team's next target to get information about Project Little Wing. Russo calls Reacher and he is not happy about them breaking into New Age Technologies. Reacher and O'Donnell go to see the drug dealer Reacher robbed before stealing some drugs to use for their plan with Boyd. Neely and Dixon go to Marlo Burns' place, but she is missing, though her cash is left behind. The team meets back up to find some fancy clothes to wear to the symphony where Boyd will be. Dixon works her magic on Boyd and sets him up with the help of Reacher's old friend, Oscar Finley. Finley takes Boyd into custody and O'Donnell and Reacher act like FBI officers who are questioning Boyd. Boyd tells him that Project Little Wing is a code name for an anti-missile software that allows missiles to defeat all known countermeasures. He also tells him that New Age has another plant in Denver. Langston sends men to kill Reacher, Neely, Dixon, and O'Donnell, but remember, you don't mess with the special investigators and they annihilate them. Reacher calls Langston to let him know he killed his men, and Langston asks what he wants. Reacher tells him,
I want to throw you out of a helicopter.
The team heads to O'Donnell's house and he sends his family away to safety. Dixon and Neely head to New Age Technologies' Denver plant. They realize the number 650 is in relation to the number of anti-missiles, but they just missed the truck that has them on board. AM has men intercept the truck. Neely and Dixon find AM's men and they get into a shootout, but they take care of business. Neely and Dixon discover that Swan is alive since he authorized a delivery from New York. O'Donnell and Reacher get briefed about AM at Homeland Security. Senator Lavoie sends people to pick him up to meet with him. Lavoie asks Reacher to find out who stole the missiles. Reacher and the gang head to New York to attend Franz's funeral. Russo and Reacher get into a heated argument. Russo tells Reacher the men working security at New Age were all former NYPD from the 3rd Precinct. They were under investigation by Internal Affairs and took early retirement so the charges would go away, then got hired at New Age. Langston couldn't even let them pay their respects at the funeral before he sent his men after them. They get into a shootout and then a car chase. Reacher catches one of the men who says that Swan hired him to take them out. He tells them where they were supposed to meet to get the money, but the building blows up before they can get any answers. Russo tells Reacher and the gang they found Marlo Burns' car, so they head to her house to investigate, while Russo handles another lead. Neely is gaming in hopes of finding Burns' daughter to get their location. Reacher and Dixon take a romantic break from the investigation. Russo goes to see Lieutenant Marsh and he confronts him about working with Langston. Neely finds Burns' location. Reacher questions Burns and she says that she doesn't know what Langston is up to, but there is no way Swan was a part of this. She says she only knows about the missiles because Swan told her. The chips that contained the software were marked as defective so Langston could sell them. She says Langston threatened her, so that's why she ran. Reacher brings Marlo and her daughter to Russo's house so he can protect them until all of this is over. Russo tells Reacher about Marsh working with Langston. Langston's men find Russo and Marlo's daughter and open fire. Russo is shot and killed, but Marlo's daughter is safe. Langston shows up to meet with Marlo and realizes it's a setup and a shootout occurs. Reacher closes in on Langston, but he is whisked away by a helicopter. Reacher finds a safe place for Marlo and her daughter to go. Reacher pays Lieutenant Marsh a visit and he reluctantly tells him that Langston hired him to keep tabs on Russo. He gives a lead on one of Langston's hitmen who is in intensive care at Mount Sinai, then Reacher kills him. Reacher and Neely head to the hospital to question one of Langston's men. He tells them Langston is meeting the buyer tomorrow. Reacher kills him as well. As they are trying to leave, they see one of Langston's men and they fight it out, but they aren't able to question him as Reacher kills him. Reacher calls Langston and Langston tells him that he has Dixon and O'Donnell. Reacher calls Senator Lavoie and asks for men to take Langston out. Reacher and Neely come up with a plan to do it. AM gets a hold of the missiles, and O'Donnell and Dixon are being tortured by Langston's men. Reacher turns himself into Langston as the episode comes to an end. Langston is questioning Reacher about where Neely is. He tells Reacher he checked the coroner's office and they didn't find a body, so he knows she is alive. Langston also tells Reacher that Swan is there with them, just not alive, as he had him killed and used his eye and finger to access everything under his name so they could pin it all on Swan. Neely comes in with the tactical team to save everyone and they get into a shootout while Langston has O'Donnell and Dixon loaded on the helicopter. Reacher is able to get on before it takes off. Reacher tries to take out Langston but almost loses Dixon in the process. Dixon is able to get free and take out one of Langston's men. Reacher finally gets his wish to take care of Langston and even fits in one of his favorite taglines.
You assume that's the information I need, Langston? But in an investigation, assumptions kill.
I guess he got to throw him out of the helicopter after all. They have Langston's man take them to the buyer. AM arrives to meet Langston, but he is introduced to Neely, O'Donnell, Dixon, and Reacher instead. They attempt to talk things out, but I think the game has some pent-up aggression they used on AM as they killed him. Reacher questions the helicopter pilot and engineer, but he lets them loose. They escape to the helicopter, but Neely decides to test out one of the missile software. Neely launches one towards the helicopter and it explodes. Lavoie's tactical team turns on Reacher and the gang, but he is one step ahead and calls Homeland Security. Reacher speaks with Lavoie and ties up his last loose end as Homeland Security takes him into custody.
I think this is what's called a win-win.
You've got the green light.
Boy! Homeland Security! Stay on the ground! Get down!
Reacher and the gang head over to a diner to celebrate. They put Reacher in charge of dispersing the $65 million they found. Reacher reluctantly agrees and disperses the money to help the loved ones of all the members of the 110th MP Special Investigations Unit. Dixon and Reacher find a fun way to say goodbye. Neely tells Reacher she wants to stay in contact more, and Reacher agrees as the two say goodbye to one another in their own special way as Season 2 comes to a hopeful end. And that concludes this Reacher edition of Prime Video Recaps. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, Reacher Season 3 premieres on February 20th with new episodes airing every week on Prime Video.